Hi everyone, excuse our really bad camera work. Our camera stand broke, we realized, and it's the new one's coming on Amazon, so hopefully the next videos won't look so rinky-dink. But basically what we're doing today is going through the 5 fitness tests that we're going to be doing, or that you're going to be doing at home, to get a gauge of how you're doing right now. So for this first test, it's the YMCA 3-minute step test. So in the name, all you need is steps, preferably 2. A metronome, which you can just Google metronome and it's on your phone, and then a stopwatch. So how this test works is you're going to be stepping for 3 minutes at 96 beats per minute, which is what you're going to use the metronome for. And then after the 3 minutes, you're going to take your heart rate for 1 minute.
So if you have a fancy watch, that will take your heart rate for you. Perfect. If not, you can take it yourself. All you need is that same stopwatch, and you'll let it go for 15 seconds. And then you're going to take your pulse rate at the thumb side of your wrist with 2 fingers. So it's important to use your fingers for this, not your thumb, because your thumb has its own pulse, so it might throw you off. So like I said, you'll just count your pulse for 15 seconds and then times that by 4 to get it per minute.
Okay,
Alrighty.
So let's get started. So we're not going to do the whole test right here, but we're just going to kind of demonstrate what it's going to look like. Okay, so I'm going to play the metronome tune because I want her to be able to step to it properly. And this is how it's going to look like, and this is what it sounds like.
So you're going up with 1 step on the middle stair, and then both feet come up to the top stair, and you just keep time with the metronome. It can be a bit tricky to get the pattern to begin with, but once you get it, it's not too bad.
Okay. So this would be the 3 minutes. You'd be going for 3 minutes. At any point, if you do feel lightheaded, if you do feel shortness of breath, just take a break and stop. We don't need to push you too hard for this, but 3 minutes at this beat should be doable for most people. And so what we're going to do, again, you'd be going for 3 minutes, but we're going to imagine that Sydney has gone for 3 minutes. So what she's going to do, she's going to sit down, and she's going to, on our coffee table here, we're doing it at home, and then she's going to take that heart rate for 15 seconds.
I'm not actually timing this, but it would be about now.
What did you get?
So I got 16 per 15 seconds. So if you time that by 4, then you're at about 64.
52.
Should be 64.
There you go. So our math is pretty good because we're physios. But that's the step test. So now we're going to go on to some of the easier ones, straightforward ones, and we'll see how this camera work goes. All right. All right, everyone. So now exercise number 2. This one is a little bit more straightforward. It's the Canadian Standardized Push-Up Test. So how it works, again, very simple. You are just doing as many push-ups as you can in 1 period of time. So if you have to take a break at all, that's the number you would get to, and then you would stop and record that number. So for women, you are going to do it off of the knees, and for men, you do it off of the feet, like a normal push-up position.
Just because that's the standardized data that is available. So just to make it a bit more comfortable, I've rolled up a blanket, and I recommend you do the same if you have any knee issues. So it looks like this. The main thing to keep in mind when you're in this position is you want to be in a straight line from your knees to your shoulders. So often we see people kind of coming down like this and trying to do a push-up, but we do want you in a straight line there.
So in order for a push-up to count, you have to get your arms to 90 degrees. So let's see. If you're going down that far, that's more than 90 degrees. That's about 120. So if you do more than 90, it's not a big deal. It still counts. But if you do less than 90, you wouldn't count that push-up. So we are going to make Sydney do this push-up test. She's going to try to do as many as she can in any time frame that she wants. So let's go. Let's hit it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, slowing down, 19,
Face is getting
20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. We didn't practice this. She's really doing that. 26.
Okay.
Okay, so that's it. Since she stopped, that was where you would, that's the number you would get. So 26, again, I haven't mentioned this before, but all of the data from these tests are based on your age range. So you just basically, we'll have a link to the tables, and you just find your age, go down, and whatever you get is the number you get. All right, now on to exercise number 3. Okay, so number 3. So this one is the partial sit-up test. I think it's called the YMCA partial sit-up test, but that's irrelevant. So what you're going to do is you are going to need a tape measure, and a timer. So how this test looks is you are going to, just to start the setup here, you're going to take tape and put it where your fingers kind of lay naturally on the carpet, okay? And then you're going to measure 3.5 inches, for some reason. They use inches. 3.5 inches from the tip of the finger. And so how this sit-up looks is you are basically going to try to touch that tape. Okay? So I'll get out of the way. Try a couple more for me, Sydney. Good. Okay. So that is the setup. And essentially what this test is you do as many as you can in 1 minute.
Yeah.
You want to do it? Are you ready?
Okay.
Go. 1, 2, 3. We haven't worked out yet, so this is her workout. 7. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. You can keep counting. So what you might notice, if you do get tired, you'll start to really try to use momentum. Ideally, she's cheating a little bit, but that's okay. Ideally, you don't want to swing a lot in terms of like the head, but it's a tough test, so you just basically go for it in 1 minute, see what you can do. Okay, 15 seconds left. She's getting tired. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, done. What's that?
Yeah, I definitely stopped counting midway through, so
Okay,
version-wise, don't do that.
Yeah, this is... Well, we'll work on that. Anyway, yeah, so you would count, record the number. Same as before, you would use the age range and then the number range to get your rating. Okay.
Based on this, I would also recommend putting the tape on both sides just so that you aren't rotating when you do it. So, just a tip.
All right. Now on to number 4. Okay, now on to number 4, the vertical jump test. So, this one, very, very straightforward. So all you're going to do is you reach up as high as you can. Again, you have the tape from the last one, so it should be on hand. At the highest point, you're going to try to put the tip of the tape. Ideally, you don't use Scotch tape because you can hardly see that. Anyway, and then what you're going to do is you are going to take the tape and kind of do the sticky side out. You're going to put it on that finger. So when you jump, you're going to touch that tape to the roof. Well, if it's to the roof, then you're doing very good. Ideally, if you jump like LeBron James, you can do it on the side of your house, because if you hit the roof, then you probably don't need this exercise program. Okay, so. Pretty good, eh? Anyway, she got to the roof. Normally we would do this, I would probably do this outside with her, but just based on lighting and this beautiful camera work, you get the idea here. Now, the important thing with this one, do a little bit of a warm-up before this, just kind of move the legs. You can do a little bit of stairs, whatever it is, because you are trying to jump as high as you possibly can. So it is a very explosive movement. Again, with this one, you could try as many times as you want. But ideally, you try about 3 or 4 times just to get kind of the rhythm and the movement. Now, when she did it, she held her arm up like this when she did it. If you can, hold the tape and really use both arms to try to touch. If there's a different way you want to measure it, if you have, I don't know, some chalk on your hand, touch the wall, whatever it is, what you do then, once you've gotten the tape, let's say it's the roof. Let's say she got to the roof. I saw her touch the roof. Then what you're going to do here, tape measure at the tape, the starting one, and then you go, ideally you have like an actual tape measure, not this one. Okay, she is, not bad, not bad. So 31 centimeters is her vert, or 13 inches. So, and then again, you would record that, and then check the table. Okay, now, the 5th one is just basically body weight, so you're just using your scale. Ideally, you do this one in the morning when you wake up, just so you don't have any differences with eating big meals or coffee or stuff like that. And again, take the weight, record it, and then we'll record at the end. This one isn't going to have normative data because obviously weight is a very different thing between individuals. But again, those are the 5 measurements. And anything else that I forgot?
That's it. You can also, if you take your weight and then using your height, you can get your BMI, and that is a little bit better. There's still issues with BMI as well as a normative stat, just because it doesn't take into account what's providing your weight, so whether it's fat or muscle. But yeah, that's an option too. So there's lots of BMI calculators as well. It's basically your weight divided by your height squared.
Okay, so those are the 5 outcome measures, the 5 exercises that we want you to do on the first day. So this is Wednesday. It's going to come out Wednesday, March 3rd. That's when we're going to start. Our first exercise or first workout is going to be on the Friday. Why we're starting in the middle of the week, I don't know. COVID's happening, the world's a mess. It doesn't really matter, right? But we're starting nonetheless. So the important thing that I want you to do today, either before or after these exercises, I really want you to basically take a walk. Take a walk, take a hike, do something active, because it's going to be pretty shock to the system if you do nothing and then you're working out 4 days a week. So we really want you to just do some type of activity. When you're on that activity, I want you to think about, okay, what are you trying to get from this exercise program? Is it going to be cardiovascular? Is it going to be weight loss? Is it going to be building muscle? What do you want from this program? Think about it. And then I want you to think of any obstacles that you may come across with these exercises. This technique, it's a sneaky way of doing it, but basically what you do, and psychologists have proven that you can basically build better habits by thinking of what you want, thinking of the outcome, or what it's going to be like at the end, thinking of the obstacles, so things that are going to prevent you from doing that. So for the example, these exercises, not having time, not having a space to do it. We're doing it in our living room, so you can do it anywhere. And then after you've thought about the obstacles, you think of ways around those obstacles. So whether that be planning specific times or trying to fit it in when your kids are not driving you crazy. Any of those work. But yeah, really try to do that. Really think about, I want some really conscious thought about why you're doing this and what you want out of it. And ideally, with that little bit of motivation, it'll give you a better idea of what you want to do and how you want to be at the end of the 4 weeks. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. So, again, we look forward to going on this 4-week journey with you. It's going to be exciting, and there's going to be a lot of sweat, which is the point.
And please email us if you do have questions.
Exactly. We have the email is going to be down below, and yeah, any questions you have, any things you want to know, just give us an email. We'll try to respond.